Hello again, it's a Friday, so that means it's Friday Parablog time again. Now this weekend we're going to be venturing off to Drakelow Tunnels again to do another investigation, this time with Paranormal UK with Nikki and her team and her guests. And we're going to be filming as the night unfolds, basically. Now, this week I thought I'd just do a little review of some of the past captures we got at the Drakelow Tunnels in Kidderminster last year. Now, I went there over a period of two to 3 months, I think it was. Can't tell you the exact dates, can't remember off the top of my head. I'm just doing this sporadically, so you have to bear with me. But basically, I went there 3 times to conduct investigations to put into a documentary, and the documentary is completed, and the first part is on YouTube. You can find that on the YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the description down below, and the second part I will be uploading any day, so that will be available too, and I'll also put the link to that in the description also below, so you can click through to the actual full documentary. But I just basically wanted to show the evidence that we actually got over those investigations. Now, the first time we went there for investigation 1, we interviewed Sid, and we also interviewed Nikki and Rachel to see what type of ghostly encounters they'd had within the tunnels, because obviously Sid works there and he's in and out all the time and has had his experiences, which you'll see in the documentary. And Nikki and Rachel, they have also been there many times conducting paranormal investigations and have seen and heard and witnessed a lot also. And you can find some of their experiences on this documentary too. And basically, I went there with Laura and Amelia, and we had the tunnels to ourselves, and we conducted a daytime investigation. Now, these tunnels are pitch black inside, even in the daytime, and the temperature sits at a steady, I think it's 10 degrees, I think, but it sits at a kind of a constant temperature. But we did notice a few temperature drops, and it does feel cold within those tunnels, very cold and very damp. And that first visit, we weren't completely scared. We had some strange experiences. We were scared in the fact that it was cold and it was dark and we didn't know where we were going. And bearing in mind, these tunnels are 3 miles. There's 3 miles worth of tunnels over quite a large area. And when you're in the pitch dark and all you've got is a torch to hand, it's kind of creepy because everywhere in that place looks the same. And evidence-wise, we basically captured an EVP there the first time we went. It's a very, very quiet EVP though, so it's not the greatest, but all the same, there's something there and it says something. But first of all, I just want to show you a clip where when we went into the large tunnel 1, which is just located past the toilets, you go through past the toilets, and then you've got this main large tunnel, and we were in there, and then just to the other side of that tunnel is the main sort of kitchen area. But we were in these tunnels, and this is a long, long tunnel. And it almost looked like we saw something close up to us, and you can see that on this clip. So have a little watch of this clip. I can see something in the middle as well.
Oh God, yeah.
Definitely.
Oh my God.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
I can see something in the middle as well. I saw
Oh
something
God,
coming towards us.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Can you see that? I can see something in the middle as well. I saw something coming towards us.
Yeah, so that was that. Although there's nothing there on the camera to show what we were seeing. And personally, I feel that it could have been the darkness playing tricks on our eyes. But we did get this overwhelming feeling like we weren't alone and like there was something there. Now, whether that was because we were scared and we were in darkness and we didn't really know where we were, that could all be part of it. So that was that one. Anyway, next clip is the EVP we got, which says, Amelia, you will be safe or saved. Can't quite distinguish that last word, if it's saying saved or safe. But have a listen to this. Yeah, so that was that one, and that kind of makes sense because Amelia was very, very scared that day, and Nikki had previously said that she thought there was something there that didn't particularly take too well to Amelia. So whether that EVP coming through was something with Amelia on the day telling her she'll be okay, I don't know, but that was that one anyway. Okay, so this next clip shows 2 EVPs which were caught in the engine room, and this was on the second investigation when just myself and Laura went. And when we went, it was an evening investigation, and we stayed there until about 1 o'clock in the morning, I believe it was. And we were there again with Paranormal UK, with Nikki and her team, but we went off on our own, and considering how large these tunnels were and the section we were in on our own, we were miles away from everybody else. And these EVPs are kind of clear, they're quite loud, but have a listen to them. The first one says, we'll kill them. So see if you can hear this.
I can't even think straight in here, can you?
Okay, so that was that one. The second one says, let me see you. Have a listen to this.
Did you hear that?
Okay, so this next clip is the third visit, and on the third visit I went there alone, and I met up with Nikki, and it was thundering and lightning outside, and it was raining, and it was the perfect weather conditions for a ghost hunt, and we arrived there on our own. So we made the most of it, and we went off in these tunnels on our own, and we went down to the engine room. And when we got there, I was filming using my normal camera, and we heard voices just coming from inside the engine room. We were just outside the engine room, but we heard these voices, and we walked in a little bit into like the first room just before the back engine room, and we heard them quite clearly, but Nikki heard them even clearer than me, because all of a sudden she ran and was quite scared. And with that, you can actually hear me laughing a little bit on the camera, but I'm the sort of person that has this nervous laugh, and if I get really scared, I have this nervous laugh which comes over. I've never noticed that before until sort of filming on camera. You notice all sorts of things when you start filming yourself on camera. But yeah, so I had a sort of a nervous laugh, but Nikki actually really crapped herself, and I think the reason why she got so scared is because you never know if there could be a human in there who has broken into the tunnels. And when you're on your own in there, it's pretty scared, because let's face it, if there was somebody in there who shouldn't be there, it is scary, because we would not want to come across an intruder, put it that way. So yeah, so we scarpered, and that was that. But anyway, we were brave, and we went back in there just to check, and there was nothing there. So that was that.
I'm not staying in there. You fuck off. Physical.
It sounded physical.
Hello?
Is there anybody in here? There was somebody talking in there.
That's what happened, Mercedes. Somebody touched my torch in there. Remember me telling you?
Yeah, so that was that. Now, clip 6. Basically, we stayed in that area and we carried on listening for more, and Nikki was provoking a little bit. And then I heard very loud and clear footsteps coming from the large tunnel just outside of the engine room. So we'd walked into the engine room, and just outside the engine room is this large tunnel which you have to walk through to get to the engine room. And that's where I heard these loud footsteps. And to me, it sounded like somebody had come in the tunnels and was walking down there to come and find us. But when we went and looked, there was nothing there at all. The camera audio didn't pick up this sound, which is a little bit disappointing, but I can remember hearing it really clearly. So have a watch of this. Somebody walking. There's somebody in there.
This is an area we need to investigate.
Oh my God. There's a physical person walking in here. So that was that. Shortly after that, the camera audio picked up an EVP. And this says, dead people, damp. See if you can hear it. So that one is quite clear. What it means in relation to those tunnels, I do not know. Damp makes sense because it's very, very damp in those tunnels. Dead people makes sense because people have died there. Altogether though, dead people, damp, I'm not quite sure what that message is portraying. If the dead people in there are damp, I don't quite know. Now, this next clip is basically myself, Nikki and Karen in the large tunnel area outside the engine room. And as we're filming there, we hear with our own ears undistinguishable male voices again. So we can hear like chattering going on and it sounds male, but we can't hear clear words. But the camera picks up this sound. So have a listen, see if you can work it out. So that was that one. Now, this next one is basically, one second, an EVP which was captured to the night vision audio camera. And this EVP says, "We need this." Have a listen and see if you can hear it. Now, what that means, I don't quite know. If it's something coming through saying, "We need this," what do they need? I don't know, can't quite make sense of it. So it is what it is. Not quite sure on that one. Right, this next clip is pretty good actually, because just myself and Karen were left in this tunnel. Nikki had to go off and greet the guests because the guests were due to arrive. And myself and Karen stayed at the end of these tunnels outside the engine room. And bearing in mind how large this place is, we were miles away from anybody. But my camera audio picks up a brilliant EVP, and it's an intelligent EVP which responds to my question. But just before that, we pick up the word laugh on the Obelisk 3, which Karen is holding. Now, for those of you who don't know what an Obelisk 3 is, basically it's this little audio box about that big, and it has a database of words inside it, which they say spirit can manipulate to use to come through and talk with you. And what it does is it will speak the word out loud in an electronic voice, and it will also display the word on its little inbuilt screen it has. So it picks up this word saying laugh. Just after that, I ask the question, sorry, I don't ask the question, I say, basically, I think it's referring to earlier on when myself and Nikki were in the engine room and we had the little scare and we ran and we laughed, even though it was a nervous laugh. We did laugh later on as well, because when you capture something like that on camera, it is quite funny to watch back, even though you poop in your pants at the time. But basically, I then say we didn't laugh at the time, but we laughed later. I think that's what I said. And this EVP that comes through responds to what I say, and it actually says, we laughed with you. Have a listen, see if you can hear it.
I'd like to know who me and Nikki heard down here earlier.
Laugh.
Laugh?
We all like to have a laugh.
Did you laugh at us when we ran away? We laughed afterwards, but we didn't laugh at the time. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? Do you hear that?
So that was that. That's a really clear EVP, I think. And knowing that just myself and Karen were in that part of the tunnel, there was nobody else down there. It's brilliant. It sounds like a male voice saying this. So I just think that's really, really good. And it actually proves that Drakelow Tunnels are very haunted. And I personally believe that there's lots of haunted activity and things going on within those tunnels. And if you want to go on a ghost hunt and you want to experience something, that is the place to go, because you will. If you don't first time, if you go again or again, you're going to, sooner or later, you're going to experience something. So yeah, I would definitely recommend going there. Even if you're very skeptical and you want to try and experience something, I think this could possibly convert skeptics into believers. So yeah, that's that. I'll just leave you with some prequels to the documentaries to watch. Please do go and watch the full documentary. It's different, very different. And yeah, so these prequels basically show what happened in part 1 and what happens in part 2. Not everything, obviously, and there's loads more within the documentary to watch, such as the Echovox sessions. We got some very spooky things coming through on the Echovox sessions, but there's so much to the documentary. I would recommend watching it if you like this sort of thing, and especially if you're going to be visiting Drakelow Tunnels yourself. So yeah, until the next, bye for now.
And the quite common one is footsteps. You could be working in the generator room, changing a filter in silence, and you can hear somebody walk up to the door, and then you shine your torch back and shout, and there's nobody there.
Myself in here personally have experienced very heavy footsteps, and the footsteps were up around in the BBC area. There was nobody present. It was just myself and a team member, and it was straight in front of us.
I have visually seen somebody walk by a door when I took a picture with my camera on the phone. The flash is outlined somebody walking quite quickly past the door, so that was, unexplained.
Got bearings.
that like it was from the ceiling? Yeah, I heard that. It's a real heavy feeling in the atmosphere, and it feels kind of smoky in here. Kill. This is such a weird place. I can't even think straight in here, can you? Did you hear that? I can't even think straight in here, can you? I request you to knock 2 times. One. And again, 2.
I'm not staying in there. Fuck off. Physical.
Is that physical?
Hello?
Is there anybody in here? There was somebody talking in there.
That's what happened, Mercedes. Somebody touched my torch in there. Remember me telling you?
Drakelow Tunnels is by far one of the most intriguing and fascinating places to explore. Set underground below what was once an old village settlement, these tunnels have a feel of eeriness to them like no other. Our findings indicate that these tunnels are indeed very haunted, with sightings of apparitions, ghostly voices being heard and captured to audio, along with the ever-present feeling you are never alone. These tunnels are a dominant landmark amongst Britain's most famous. They should not be explored by the faint-hearted. Don't say you weren't warned.
Thank you.